Hello, hello. Welcome to lesson 15.6, seventh graders. We're going to be talking all about samples and populations within this lesson. So here are our objectives. It is I can determine when samples are representative of populations, and I can use data from random samples to make predictions about populations. Skipping our warm-up. All right, so how can you determine whether a sample accurately represents the population? So when we want to go and get a sample size, we want it to be able to be represent the population as best as we can. Across the board between age, gender, race, whatever. I want it to be very accurate of the amount of people who are there and what their beliefs or what are the things that I'm asking them. Okay, so there's a few steps that we need to determine if a sample is unbiased or if it's accurate. So we're going to start taking a look at this. One thing though, I think this unbiased part is not in our notes. Okay. Let's talk about this first, and then I'll kind of go on the basis of what it is that defines an unbiased sample, okay? So it says you want to eliminate the number of students in a high school who ride the school bus. So out of the high school students, you want to know how many of them ride the bus. We want to pick a sample that is unbiased. Alrighty, so I found the part that we are missing from our notes, which is describing what an unbiased sample is, okay? So an unbiased sample, it says, is representative of a population. It is selected at random and in large enough to provide accurate data. So like I was talking about how it is important to get enough data. We want to be as accurate as possible, but also we want it to be random, okay? So then a biased sample is not representative of the population. Okay, so maybe you're asking the wrong set of people. One or more parts of the population are favored over the other. All right, so let's go back to our lesson here and look. So you want to estimate the number of students in high school who ride the school bus. So which sample is unbiased? So A, 4 students in the hallway. B, all students in marching band. C, 50 seniors at random. And D, 100 students at random during lunch. All right, so let's think about this. Number A is, I would say, random, but I don't feel like the number amount is very high. We want to get it as accurate as we can. B, that's favoring one group. You're only asking marching band students. Maybe more marching band students are on the bus than the jocks are. I don't know. So that's no, because that's favoring one. That's biased. So C, 50 seniors at random. That is also biased because there is multiple people in a high school. There are freshmen, freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors. So if you're just asking the seniors, you're being biased. And D, then 100 students at random during lunch. I like that this one says at random. Okay, you could run into any groups of people at lunch, and it's got a lot of people, so I would say your best choice for this one is answer D. That is going to be unbiased. Okay, we got a large sample size. We're not specifically picking a group, we're just going to ask random people. All right. So here's an on your own part that I want you to try and do. So number 1 says, what if you want to establish the number of seniors in high school who rode the bus? Which option would you pick then? So if you want to go back and look at those, A, B, C, or D. And number 2 says you want to estimate the number of 8th grade students in your school who consider it relaxing to listen to music. You randomly survey 15 members of the band. Your friend surveys 15 students whose name appear in an alphabetical list of 8th graders. Which sample then would be unbiased, you or your friends list? Go ahead, pause the video. I want you to answer these 2 questions. Come on back when you have your answers. Pause the video. This way. Pause the video. All right, coming on back, number one, I would pick the option C because you were talking about seniors. They did emphasize that it is a random group of seniors. So that would work and it would be completely fine. The reason we just didn't pick this one before is because you're just talking about high school students. If you specifically say seniors, then you can pick option C. For number two, your friend actually has the unbiased sample case here because they just took a list of people alphabetically. You can run into all types of students, students who do well, students who are outside of school curriculars. You don't know. When you decided to go ask all the members of the band, obviously the people in band are probably going to enjoy listening to music because they're already in a band or they like making music. So that one is going to be a biased case. So in this case, it is your friend who has the unbiased results. All right, let's look at this one. Example 2, you want to know how the residents of your town feel about adding a new stop sign. Determine whether each conclusion is valid. So we want to determine, given their circumstances, did they make an unbiased ruling? And does their, or like unbiased sample, and does it make sense? So let's look at A. So to figure this out, you survey 20 residents who live closest to the new sign. 15 support the sign and 5 do not. So you conclude that 75% of the residents of your town support the new sign. All right, that's one option. I'm going to tell you one's going to be good and one's not going to be so good. So let's read option B and then go from there. B, you survey 100 residents at random. 40 support the new sign and 60 do not. So you'll conclude that 40% of the residents of your town support the new sign. So there are pros and cons to each one. Remember, if I want an unbiased sample, I want a larger sample. And right now, in A, we have 20 residents. And in B, we have 100 residents. So that's going to be a positive for the B option because there is a lot more residents there. The other thing is that in A, I can tell that it's being biased because it's singling out a certain group of people, okay? Because it says 15 who live closest to the new sign. I would think in theory, you should ask the people who live there, but you're also being biased against the people who don't live there and also, or like aren't right next to it and also have opinions. So I would say that this one, A, is invalid, which means not valid, and B is valid, okay, meaning that this is the option I should have gone with. Ask a whole bunch of random people, okay, in my town, maybe I'm on the street and I'm just catching people, okay. This A is invalid because we don't have a large enough sample size and we're only asking the people who live right by the sign. All right, let's look at 3. Whew, I feel like I'm talking too fast. All right. You asked 75 random chosen students how many movies they watch each week. Oh, I wonder how different this would change now with quarantine. Do you guys watch a lot of movies or are you watching a lot more series? Let me know in the comments below. There are 1,200 students in the school. Predict the number N of students in the school who watch one movie each week. Okay, so we have a sampling size of 75 random students. So we did a survey, or we did an unbiased collection of data, and we had 75 random students that we chose, and these are the results. 21 of them say they watch one movie, 30 of them say they watch no movies, and 24 of them say they watch 2 or more movies. So we want to predict the number N of students in the school who watched one movie each week. So my one movie here is 21. So let's use our sample that we created. We asked 75 people, so the 75 would be on the bottom. The experiment that we got was 21. Okay, 21 out of the 75 said they watch one movie. If I want to figure out then how would this translate to the amount of students if I had 1,200 students, so instead of, I don't want to ask all of them. That's going to take so long. So what I can do again is I can set up a proportion. The total amount of students go on the bottom. We're going to make n the top. And let's use our cross multiplications to solve. So this would be 75n. What is 21 times 1,200? Did I do that right? Yeah, okay. That's a really big number. 25,200. All right, we're going to divide each side by 75. And my n then looks to be that I would expect 336 students to say that they watch one movie each week. Okay, so that's where proportions are going to continue to be something that we have been using throughout this whole year, guys. Okay, we're just going to set up our ratio, our probability, use it to simulate a bigger situation where I don't want to ask that many people. Okay. Let's take a look at these because I think the next part's a closure. An example 2, each of the 25 randomly firefighters support the new sign. All right, give me answers for number 3. Sounds good. Number 4, let's see. All right, I think you can do both of these, so go ahead, pause the video. When you come back, we will have the answers for you. Okay, you can answer both of these. Feel free to go ahead or go back in the video if you need to catch up on that. Hey, code word. Code word today is lamp. Yes, I know it looks ridiculous. Lamp. Pause your video. Alrighty, coming on back. For number 3, I would conclude that this is invalid because it says in example 2, each 25 randomly chosen firefighters support the random sign. Again, you're picking a biased group. You're only asking the firefighters. Okay, what about all the other professions? Okay, what do the police think? What do the mail carriers think? What do the church people think? What do the nurses think? Okay, so this is actually invalid. Part number 4, then, you just use the same kind of numbers we had from the other one, but instead I'm looking at the people 2 or more videos. So you had 24 out of the 75, set up your portion to figure out what would that be if you had 1,200 students. And you would have you should expect like 384 students to say that they watch 2 or more movies in a week. All right. We're not doing closure. Alrighty, so you do have big ideas math. Big ideas math, you have 15.6. Big ideas math. Get it done. This one is gonna be due. When is it due? Hey, the 53rd. Or 53rd. The 31st of May. So 5/31, not 53rd. Get it done. Okay, we're almost there. Home stretch. We're almost around at the almost to summer. Whoop, 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 whoop. Alrighty, I will see you the next episode, or the next episode in this installment. I'm going crazy, guys. Make sure to get outside and get some fresh air every so often. But I will see you at the next video tomorrow. Have a good day.